After a life-and-death separation, Doshan and Jinjai realized their importance to each other and hugged tightly, terrified of losing one another. In that moment, they appreciated their emotions. Jinjai recovered and left the hospital. Watching her daughter play, she often thought of her son. That night, Jinjai visited the Nana's room, resolved to investigate the mysterious temple. Before she left, the nanny earnestly warned her, "No matter what you see or hear, you must not open the temple door." The nanny insisted on a promise. After Jinjai's reassurances, she revealed the temple's location. They set off at night to the graveyard. With help from 3 locals, Oliver's coffin was exhumed. Jinjai, disregarding the Nana's warnings, insisted on seeing her son for one last time. As she squatted down, overjoyed, stroking Oliver's coffin, his favorite toy tiger suddenly appeared. Jinjai wanted to take it home. But to her surprise, the next second, Jinjai jumped back in fright. She couldn't understand why her son was holding onto the toy tiger because she had placed it inside the coffin on the day he was buried. Without more time to think, Jinjai, with the nanny by her side, cremated her son's remains. At the same time, Jinjai saw 2 peculiar people near the bonfire. The nanny said they were from the Stone Corpse clan and smeared ashes on themselves. Apparently, they also had a habit of eating dead people's flesh, said to be a way to communicate with spirits. When dawn broke, Jinjai arrived at the train station. Thanks to the nanny's arrangement, she hopped on a train heading to Southern. Soon after, she found the dilapidated temple near the graveyard, surrounded by an eerie atmosphere of death. The steps were littered with animal corpses, yet this did not deter Jinjai from her determination to reach the temple. She marched forward resolutely. Sitting on the steps, after kissing Oliver's urn, Jinjai scattered his ashes on the ground, then stepped into the temple. She closed the grand door behind her. Shortly after, Jinjai lit the candles, but there was no response from the door at all. Just as she was about to give up, she heard a noise at the door. Holding her candle, she stood up to investigate. But the crow suddenly shot out, startling her. When Jinjai lit the candle again, she saw the crow withering away at a visible speed. Terrified, Jinjai could only return to the main hall. Just then, there was a loud banging at the door. When the banging subsided, she gingerly approached, only to find her son Oliver's voice. It seemed that the Indian nanny wasn't lying. Jinjai's emotions surged as she kept apologizing to her son. She insisted she shouldn't have left him but had to make a choice to save her ailing daughter. Oliver then said it was dark outside and hoped Mom would let him in. Jinjai decisively refused. Remembering her promise to the nanny, she could not open the door, no matter what. But at that moment, Oliver said he was leaving, and Jinjai panicked. Forgetting her promise, she dashed to open the temple door. But outside the door was empty, there was nothing. Oliver. Jinjai called out several times but saw no trace of her son, so she resolved to return to the temple. But just as she turned around, a Stone Corpse clan member appeared behind her. She stared intensely at Jinjai, seeming to perceive something that is invisible to the naked eye. Terrified, Jinjai could only flee into the forest, unaware that danger was already closing in. After Jinjai left, cracks began to appear in the statues within the temple, signaling signs of awakening. Meanwhile, Doshan, resting on the couch, was suddenly startled awake by barking. Thinking it was his wife returning, he hurried to the door, only to find the yard completely empty. Meanwhile, Jinjai, on the train, encountered something bizarre. While looking at Oliver's photo, a ball dropped to the floor. It was a ball dropped by a little girl in the upper bunk, but oddly, everyone around seemed oblivious to it. Only Jinjai could see that little ball and that little girl. The scene shifted to her daughter Lucy, who also heard strange noises while playing. She stood up to check and found Oliver's toy pot sitting at the stairs corner. Even stranger, there was a "Do Not Enter" sign hanging on Oliver's room door. It appeared to have been freshly hung, while Jinjai also took a taxi to return back home. After elaborating on her upcoming whereabouts to her husband Doshan in detail, Jinjai slowly ascended the stairs in the hope of finding her daughter, only to unexpectedly hear her seemingly engaged in conversation with someone. Facing her mother's inquiry, Lucy lied, claiming she was just talking to her doll. Jinjai didn't think much of it. After putting the toy in the box, she turned to leave. But just then, the box suddenly toppled over. Even stranger, the blocks on the ground spelled out Oliver's initials. Jinjai thought it was just coincidence, so she rushed out of the second floor. While searching the living room for Lucy, she was horrified to see Oliver's burial toy pot sitting on the piano. She hurriedly asked Lucy where the toy had come from, but her daughter didn't answer, continuing to play the piano. Jinjai angrily interrupted her. However, in the very next moment, she stood there frozen in astonishment, suddenly realizing she had been caught up in the whirlwind of it all. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to my channel where more fascinating and unique adventures are awaiting you to discover.